Are employee support policies fair to everyone, or is it just special treatment? Let's address a question that many managers and HR leaders are thinking, sometimes out loud, sometimes not. If we start giving people flexibility for personal or family needs, doesn't that feel unfair to everyone else? It sounds like a fairness issue, but the real question is deeper. What does fairness actually mean in the workplace? Because what one person sees as support, another might see as favoritism. And when that isn't defined clearly, it creates confusion, resentment, and silence. So today, we're unpacking the myth that flexibility and well-being policies are special treatment and showing how equity, not equality, creates real fairness at work. If we haven't met, I'm Dr. Anna Thomas. I'm a physician, leadership speaker, caregiver advocate, and corporate wellness specialist. I help organizations strengthen their workforce and create workplaces where people and performance can thrive together. Even as we enter an era of AI, automation, and agentic teams, the future of work is still human, and that work is changing dramatically. But at the same time, employees are navigating complex personal and professional pressures that are only going to escalate in the coming years. For example, in the next 5, 10, 15 years, we will see an exponential increase in the number of older adults who will need caregiving support. Who will be providing that care? Working adults. Right now, 63 million Americans are caregivers. That's 1 in 4 adults, with more than half of them currently working full-time. Those numbers are expected to increase and will have a tremendous impact on our communities and, yes, even our workplaces. And caregiving is just one example of a personal stressor that will impact the workplace. Mental health, chronic illness, stress, and burnout are all on the rise, and the organizations that will thrive are those that lead with care, culture, awareness, resources, and empowerment, care. Through this series, I share practical strategies, leadership tools, and insights to help you create cultures that support well-being, strengthen engagement, and retain top talent. If you'd like a clear starting point, then check out my free training, The Future of Work is Care. The link is below. And while you're there, be sure to like, subscribe, and share this with another leader who is ready to build a workplace that cares. Let's get into today's topic. In this video, we're going to break down why flexibility and support can feel like special treatment, the difference between equity and equality, what actually maintains trust across teams, and how to implement support policies that feel fair, even when people's needs are different. By the end, you'll have clear language, structure, and the confidence to lead these conversations in your organization. So let's start with the tension. When a team member gets a flexible schedule to manage caregiving or health needs or burnout recovery, it can look like they're getting more than others. They log off earlier, they work non-standard hours, their deadline shifts. Without context, that support can look like a free pass, even if the person is still meeting or exceeding results. And when others don't understand why flexibility is being offered or how those decisions are being made, it can create 2 reactions. First is quiet resentment. Why don't I get that? And second is reluctance to ask for help. I don't want to be seen as a problem to the rest of the team. But here's the key. This perception isn't caused by the flexibility. It's caused by the lack of clarity and the lack of communication around it. Many leaders are taught to treat everyone the same way all the time. Same hours, same rules, same expectations. That is equality. But here's the problem. People don't always have the same needs, the same resources, or the same circumstances. One employee may be caring for a loved one. Another may be managing a chronic health condition. Another may have none of those pressures. And if you apply the same rules to everyone, you might look fair, but you're ignoring reality. And that's why high-performing teams don't operate on equality alone. They operate on equity. Equity means giving people the support, the tools, or the flexibility they need to meet shared goals based on what they're actually facing. Let's talk about what really maintains fairness. First of all, it's structure. Support works best when it's based on policy, not personal favors. That means having a framework for flexibility, accommodation, or temporary adjustments, making it clear who is eligible and how requests are evaluated, documenting changes to roles, hours, or expectations. When that structure exists, support stops feeling like special treatment. It becomes consistent, transparent, and fair. Second is transparency without oversharing. You do not need to disclose someone's private situation to explain how flexibility works, but you can be clear about the principles that are guiding your approach. For example, you might say, we recognize that employees may face caregiving, health, or personal challenges. We evaluate flexibility requests consistently, balancing team needs and performance expectations. And if you ever need support, please reach out. This framing tells your team that support isn't a secret they have access to. It is not favoritism, it is fairness. Third, consistency in accountability. Support doesn't mean that you are lowering standards. If someone is missing deadlines or underperforming, that should be addressed. But if someone is delivering high quality work with a modified schedule, that's not a pass, it's still performance. Flexibility should empower success, not excuse mediocrity. Support doesn't mean overlooking problems. It means helping employees meet expectations sustainably. 4, you want to acknowledge the team impact. Sometimes flexibility for one person shifts the workload for others, and that is real and it needs to be named. So you can say, we appreciate everyone's flexibility while we balance workloads. Let's talk about how we can keep things equitable and sustainable. That kind of honesty builds trust, not tension. Here's some examples of fair support. So these practices sometimes raise eyebrows, but when it's structured well, they're fair and effective. So it could be modified start or end times for family or health routines. It could be a short-term schedule adjustment during a personal crisis. It could be remote or hybrid options for caregiving or recovery periods, paid or unpaid leave. Fairness doesn't mean treating everyone identically. It means providing structured access to support, like the ones I mentioned, when needed, that is grounded in performance accountability. So what does fairness feel like? See, support feels unfair when it's inconsistent, hidden, or unclear, but support feels fair when it's structured, explained well, accessible, and tied to transparent performance expectations. So how do you respond when people question the flexibility? If you're hearing things like, well, why does she get to leave early? Would I get the same treatment? Is this going to be the norm now? Here's how you lead it. Acknowledge the concern. It is fair to ask how we maintain balance when needs are different. Affirm your process. We use a consistent approach for evaluating flexibility. It's not personal, it's based on policy. Then open the door. If you ever have a need, talk to us early. We want everyone to succeed here. And then reinforce the standard. Support doesn't mean lowering expectations. It means helping people meet them sustainably. This isn't about managing resentment. It's about modeling fairness with transparency and care to the whole team. So let's return to our question. Are employee support policies fair to everyone or just special treatment? Here's what we've seen. Support feels fair when it's consistent, visible, and clear. And it feels unfair when it's inconsistent, hidden, or vague. Equity, not equality, is the standard of modern leadership. You're not lowering the bar by offering flexibility, you're making the bar reachable for everyone. People who are carrying real-life challenges, and when that happens, your culture becomes more trusting, more engaged, and sustainable. If you want help building these type of frameworks in your workplace, then catch my free training, The Future of Work is Care. It is a practical deep dive into how leaders can lead with clarity and care. The link is in the description below. And if you haven't yet, check out my book, Workplaces That Care. It's on Amazon. It is your playbook for building a resilient, human-centered workplace that supports and retains your best people. Coming up next, we're going to talk about why does supporting people build loyalty more than perks ever could. We're going to explore what truly drives retention in today's workforce and why care, not perks, is the ultimate loyalty driver. Be sure to subscribe so you get the notification. And while you're waiting, now you can watch How can I reduce stigma around personal challenges without lowering standards? It will give you the language for balancing empathy with performance in real time. Even in the age of AI, remember, the future of work is still human. So let's create workplaces that care together.